Hello, EKN Nation. Welcome to a new edition of The Debrief, episode number 144. It is Tuesday, February the 25th. I'm Rob Howden. I'll be joined by David Cole. I'm really just going to kind of quarterback the broadcast here. David Cole was the one that was on site at the 2025 Race Rotax RMC USA West event out at the Phoenix Kart Racing Association this past weekend. A number of tickets to the Rotax Grand Finals were doled out over 2 days of wheel-to-wheel action. David's going to dive into that through this edition of The Debrief. This week's show presented by Stilo USA. As a world leader in personal racing safety products, Simpson Performance Products is now the official North American distributor for Stilo helmets. In addition to their popular auto racing helmets, Stilo is excited to have made their move into karting. Stilo has 3 helmets designed and manufactured specifically for karting: the ST5 CMR and the ST5 KRT helmets, including the new ST5 CMR Carbon. Complete your safety gear with the Stilo Carbon Curva Rib and Chest Protector. For more information, check them out at stilohelmets.com or by following them on social media at Stilo USA. All right, David, let's jump into this thing. February 21st, 22nd, 23rd, this past weekend. It's Tuesday now. You flew home yesterday. It's been a while since you've been out to the PKRA facility in Glendale, Arizona, but a one-off event this year for the Race Rotax RMC USA West program. Couple of rounds of racing on both Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, a unique one-off. It's certainly very similar to what we've seen in the past where Rotax Grand Finals tickets are on the line, but this one a unique format and featuring 2 rounds of racing. So 1 round on Saturday, 1 round on Sunday, combined the 2 days of action, and that's we get our overall weekend winners and the 6 tickets that were handed out for the 6 categories that we're competing on this weekend.
So just right now, tell me what's the temperature in Grand Rapids, Michigan? Where are you?
It's actually a bright, sunny. It's actually 50 degrees right now. It's bright and sunny.
What? What was it before you left?
Before I left, yes, it was below 20 degrees. So yes,
yeah,
not negative.
It was mid-80s all weekend.
Under 20 degrees, where it was about a 60-degree difference from home into going to Phoenix, Arizona. So it was beautiful weather all weekend long. Picture clear skies. Even at night when the sun went down and we were running under the lights, the breeze was a little chilly, but overall you're still wearing shorts, so it's a good day.
And David, that was kind of an interesting part of the event, right? The Saturday races were kind of they started in the early afternoon and went under the lights. The main events under the lights on Saturday night, right?
Yeah, Friday and Saturday they started later, got going around 1 o'clock and ran into the night. So aside from Junior Max was the first class on track. So maybe they could have shifted the schedule a little bit to go get them under the lights, because it was kind of orange with the sun setting. So They weren't really under the lights, but the rest of the final sessions each day on Friday and Saturday were under the lights. So it was unique. Yeah, you got to experience, starting the day driving under a really warm, hot racetrack, cooling off racetrack for midday, and then a cooler racetrack and under the lights at the end of the day.
Yeah, I like the changing conditions. As we always do in these EKN debriefs, the tail end of the opening segment, we hit our by the numbers segment. David, 97 drivers in total end up lining up and being the entries for the weekend over 6 categories. The biggest, of course, Senior Max, but all but DD2 into the double digits. So that's a good thing for Rotax as it continues to grow and continues to spread its roots back here in the U.S.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good amount of entries in all the categories, but even just to bring back DD2, that's something we haven't seen. Yeah. We'll talk a little bit more about that. We haven't seen that category here in the U.S. in a couple of years, so it was great to see. It's more entries than what they had at the U.S. Trophy Final back in August of 2024. So that bodes well. There's just a lot of racing going on, and I think Race Rotax realized that. They're like, hey, we can't host a 4-round program with all the racing that's going on right now. It's very hard to try and get people committed for 4 weekends. Yeah. And so the one-off thing certainly has helped, with nearly triple digits overall for just 6 categories. I think that's kind of the key aspect of that. So as you said, all but DD2 in double digits. and then a whopping 37 drivers in Senior Max, which was unbelievable to watch all weekend.
I bet. 13 in the micro category, an even dozen in mini max, 16 in junior, and a dozen in the Masters Max category as well. David mentioned the 7 drivers in DD2, and it's essentially return to the program here in the U.S. That caps off our first segment here. We get back after this break with messages from our partners. We'll jump in to the Paddock Pass. David's got some stuff that happened away from the racetrack out there in Phoenix. History, success, family. Those are the 3 words that can describe Comet Kart Sales, one of the longest tenured karting businesses in the United States. The family-owned operation located just outside of Indianapolis has provided karts, parts, and services for thousands of racers in the near 6 decades of business. Their online store features everything you need, continually adding new parts to their product line. From full karting packages, new engines, spare or replacement parts, and safety gear, find it all at CometKartSales.com. Their Comet Racing Engine service has won multiple major events and championships over decades of karting and continues to offer the best trackside service in the industry, specializing in IAME X30, IAME Swift, and other 2-cycle power plants. Make sure to head to CometKartSales.com or call them at 317-462-3413 to be part of the Comet Kart Sales family today.
Welcome to AIM Sports and the groundbreaking Micron 6 karting data logger. Since its inception, AIM Sports has been at the forefront of motorsport technology, revolutionizing how racers gather data. From its early days, AIM has tailored its innovations to provide precise insights, allowing racers to fine-tune their strategies and push their limits. Fast forward to today, and we're excited to celebrate 30 years of Micron by introducing the latest evolution in karting data loggers, the Micron 6. Designed with cutting-edge features, including 25Hz GPS with mil-spec precision, a 6-axis inertial platform, shift lights and alarms, temperature inputs, and a host of wired and wireless expansions. With 2 CAN buses, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi, it's perfect for karting enthusiasts looking to enhance their game on the track. With its advanced suite of sensors, high-speed data acquisition, and easy-to-use interface, the Micron 6 delivers unparalleled performance on track. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, this powerful tool helps you analyze every turn, every lap, even every heartbeat. Imagine a tool that not only records your lap times, but also analyzes parameters like speed, tire temperature, driver inputs, and engine performance. With the Micron 6, you'll gain insights that can shave seconds off your times and elevate your skills behind the wheel. Don't just drive, be data-driven. Join the AIM Sports community today and equip yourself with the Micron 6 to take your karting experience to the next level. Visit aimsports.com to learn more. AIM Sports, 30 years of Micron.
Back at it for this edition of the EKN Debrief. Rob Howden alongside David Cole as he dives into essentially our race report, all part of the EKN trackside coverage from the RMC USA West event out at the Phoenix Kart Racing Association facility in Glendale. Jumping now into the Paddock Pass before we dive right into the race report. Paddock Pass today presented by CRG Nordam. CRG is one of the most iconic brands in karting, and we're primed and ready with new material and a never-ending focus on winning. CRG Nordam is the North American distributor for all CRG products. Based outside of Houston, Texas, CRG Nordam supports CRG dealers across the continent, reaching every corner of North America. Check out the CRG KT5 for tag and shifter racing, the Black Mirror for cadet competition, and the FS4 for Briggs. Longtime CRG drivers will be happy to know that the CRG Road Rebel, the standard in quality and performance, is still available. For more information on the CRG product line, head to www.kartcrg.com. And to inquire about a North American dealer near you, please email us at info@kartcrg-nordam.com. All right, David, we finished off the last segment talking about the fact that DDT has made its return, DD2 rather, 6 Canadians, 1 American. And that's kind of what we're going to roll into here to a certain extent. Out of the gate, you guys did a segment with Matthew Taskin and Henry Baudet on our social media. What is a DD2? I think, again, it hasn't been seen for a while. A lot of people new to the sport. So really kind of a reintroduction to the whole DD2 formula.
Yeah, that's a great word to use, formula, because that's kind of what it is, because it's something that's very unique in the sport of karting, with the engine being a direct drive, essentially, with the axle going through the engine and the gearbox section of the engine. So no chain, so a chainless engine. And then also only one cassette bearing hanger because the axle goes through the engine itself. So a unique chassis, a unique engine, only 2 speeds on it. So it is a shifter kart in a sense. It has paddle shifters to go down and up in the gears into neutral as well. And so it's definitely a unique package. And it had been a while since I'd seen a DD2. I can't even think the last time we saw DD2 in person. And just watching them under the lights, especially at Phoenix, those things are just fast. They're super fast. They're super cool. Hard into the braking zone with the full brake system, 4-wheel brakes on the kart. It's very cool. It is a unique aspect, and it really, one of the things we focused on in the video with Henry and Matthew Taskin, a former Rotax Grand Finals driver. It's the headline division around the world for Rotax racing. This is where all the stars in the sport race in this category, and, in the past here in the US, we saw a lot of shifter drivers go that way, like a Joey Wimsett, who was on the podium at the Rotax Grand Finals, Fritz Leisman, and many other shifter drivers, even the Masters drivers who did race the DD2 Masters class most of them are former shifter drivers in that category.
Yeah, Alan Rudolph did one.
Alan Rudolph, Mike Jones, John Crow, just to name some off the top of my head. Yeah.
For sure. And again, we'll see whether or not or how the program starts to develop here. It is obviously run more up in Canada. That's why we saw 6 drivers come down to this Western program. We'll see if it starts to maybe grow a little bit here south of the Canadian border. David, a couple of drivers doing double duty in the senior classes. Let's talk about Macy Williams and Griffin Dowler.
Yeah, Macy Williams, the lone USA driver in DD2 category. She was doing both senior and DD2 along with the Canadian Griffin Dowler. Macy is a former Team USA driver. She won her ticket a couple years back. Wasn't her first time doing double duty. She did it up in Canada a couple years ago for the Max Speed Group, I believe is the correct term for their program up there. And Dollar, a former Team Canada member, he's also part of the XGEL driver development program or driver exchange program that they're doing with the Japanese Rotax program. So he went over to Japan, raced there last year. And again, they're going to be doing the driver exchange program again too. So it's great to chat with Griffin Dowler. I haven't really ever spoken with him, but very professional, very focused and determined driver, but very professional at the same time.
That's awesome. One of the things that happened on the weekend as well, away from the actual Rotax program, was the fact that Factory Karts had their FZ machines out there and we're doing a demo. I saw you had that on the social media. Why don't you dive in a little more on that? Fill us in on some of the information on Factory Karts being there trackside.
Yeah, their new headquarters being just a couple of minutes away from PKRA, and with the schedule being shifted as it was, allowed for a couple of hours for drivers to take part and demo the Factory Karts FZ package that they do have. It's a spec shifter kart program. So Factory Karts put in some sponsorship for the event to provide some time for drivers to take part and enjoy the 65 program for cadets, the 85 for juniors, and the 125 for seniors. But there were some seniors that did the 85 as well too, as we know. From your past in the Pro Moto days at Superkarts USA, the 80 program was senior program was a big hit in shifter kart racing back in the day. So the cadet drivers are certainly the ones that took advantage the most. Many of them going out multiple times all with big smiles. There's something about driving a shifter cart that just puts a smile on your face. And so, yeah, Factory Carts was happy to introduce this package to a lot of people who had not seen it before or have driven a shifter cart. And it's it was a cool deal. They put the Mojo tires on the Factory Carts. So, it seemed to work out well with the DD5 tire compound that they utilized for the senior and DD2. It was a bit different, but it could work, a little bit of changes here and there. And it was really cool to see. I didn't partake because I had such a long day of covering the event. I didn't want to beat myself up with the 125. I tried sitting in the 85, but the seat wasn't big enough. So
I was gonna say, how do we not know about this to get your helmet, your suit out there with you? It's crazy.
Yeah, I just too much going on. One person can only do so many things. You
are getting old, Cole. Yes,
I'm getting old. Yeah, if this was 10 years ago, of course I would have, Rob. But
you're 40. How old are you? You just had a birthday. How old are you now? 40 what?
46.
You were 46?
46. Yeah. I'm 4 years away from Legends, man.
Yeah, but I got to realize now I got to back off because you're just so old now. I can't expect you to always get in the seat because, yeah, you're right. Like a 5-6 hour day is tough for you nowadays, right?
5-6 hours? What do you mean 5-6 hour days, Rob? Man, this isn't car racing.
Well, you started in the afternoon on Saturday. Like, it must have been a half a day. You were working half days.
Oh, you mean the midnight we finally got back to the house after dinner? Yeah, sure.
Well, I said, is it the first 12 hours of the day or the second 12 hours of the day?
Yeah.
It would have been cool to see you get behind the wheel. But yeah, David, you mentioned it, right? Anytime you know, that's the first time you got in your shifter cart and drove it, you couldn't wipe the smile off your face for a week. They're just so much fun to drive for sure. So I love seeing kids being able to jump into the 65 and the 85, which, like you said, 85 for the longest time was a place where a lot of drivers, a lot of guys would go to the 80cc or formerly K1 days back there. The Scott Speeds, the Graham Rahal, James Hinchcliffe, Alan Shudo, Scott and Alex Speed. Like, man, 80cc, that 85 is a really good place to learn how to roll corner speed and learn shifter kart racing. So that was cool to see them get out there.
Well,
very, very cool.
And let's not deny that Phoenix Kart Racing Association will beat the hell out of you, right? It's not like a Newcastle.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right. Okay.
Well, Newcastle's got all those long straightaways you can kind of groove in. But listen, first ever Superkarts USA Pro Moto Tour race at Phoenix back in 1999. There you go.
Yeah, and I don't want to bust my seat and get my ass strawberried up.
Do the Michael McDowell, no doubt.
Yeah.
All right, folks, diving into another commercial breakdown. We get back. David's going to do the heavy lifting here. He was trackside, like he said, long days throughout Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, covering all of the action from Phoenix. Race Report up next here on The Debrief. Fast, fair, and fun. Ignite Karting offers you all of that at an affordable price. Ignite Karting utilizes the spec Margay Ignite K3 chassis with a Briggs & Stratton 206 engine and the Hoosier R80 tire. Everyone in the rookie, junior, senior, heavy, and masters classes compete on the same Ignite K3 chassis, which puts all the emphasis squarely on driver development. Additionally, Ignite Karting is accessible at the local, regional, and national level. Special events for the season include the Ignite Majors that begin with the annual trip to the Daytona International Speedway as part of the WKA Daytona Kart Week, running in both the sprint and road racing events. Those in the Midwest can enjoy the regionally based Ignite Challenge, featuring 5 iconic facilities. Local club programs have also been established in states all across the country, Idaho to Texas, Nebraska to New York, with more tracks and clubs joining the Ignite Karting program. Be part of fast, fun, and great memories with Margay Racing at an Ignite track near you. All information on Ignite events and Ignite Kart packages, including dealers in your area, are available at ignitekarting.com. Get off the couch and onto the track this year. Ignite Karting. Fuel your passion. Made in the USA. It's not just a statement, it's the mission at Factory Carts of America. Led by 4-time Supernats champion Billy Musgrave, Factory Carts manufactures their frames completely in-house at the Riverside, California facility. Built and designed from the ground up specifically for the American karting market, Factory Carts brings new innovations and solutions that are long overdue. Factory Carts bring together the highest quality materials to produce a high-performance, long-lasting cart that has been designed and perfected from 3 years of development, with a focus for a big push across North America in 2023. No other karting manufacturer stands behind its product like Factory Carts does, providing a 2-year warranty on all their frames. Do you remember when American made meant innovative, original, stronger, faster, and just plain better? Well, American made is back. Contact Factory Carts today to join the American made movement. Learn more by visiting factorycarts.com or email Billy anytime at info@factorycarts.com. Back at it with the EKN Debrief, episode number 144. David Cole's going to give us a full in-depth look at all the racing, from the RMC USA West event out at PKRA. Yeah, I was joking with David before the break about working half days, 12 hours in front, 12 hours in the back, of course. We know what it's like at these events, folks, and we roll in there at 7 or 8, and then we're back at the hotel, and David's still working on the race report, whatever it is, late into the evening. So they're definitely, 12-hour days are easy days, I think, sometimes when it comes to covering karting. Diving into the race report now, brought to you today by Odenthal Racing Products. Motor mounts are critical to producing 100% of the power your engine has to get you on the podium each and every time. Odenthal Racing Products provides the best in the karting market today. Odenthal Racing Products is a family-owned and operated business with decades of karting experience, providing products with unmatched quality and value for the karting market. Check out their Pro Series mount for 2-cycle engines and their 4-cycle Easy Set for the Briggs & Stratton 206 power plant. Head to odenthalracing.com and find a dealer near you. Odenthal Racing Products, made in the USA. All right, David, let's roll into Senior Max, 37 strong. That must have been fun seeing those guys roll out on the track and get ready to go head-to-head. I'll throw out the headline. David, fill us in. Here's the headline for Senior Max. Eau Claire rises to the top for 5th Rotax Max Grand Finals ticket.
It was, it was fun to watch this category. It was the last class in the order, so we got to end the day and each round with this category. In qualifying, it was split up because of such the large field. So they did a B group and A group, and they did odds in one group, evens in the other, based on the final practice session on Friday. Ironically, it was strange to see the two groups blended together. You had about 5 from Group B and 5 from Group A make up the top 10 in qualifying each day. So it was wow. Fun to watch, and it was a fun thing to watch with Blake Nash being in Group B. He had provisional up until Micah Hendricks, the local driver, was able to put down a 45.396, take the top spot in the qualifying session and win the pole position. However, Nash was able to get away in the pre-final to win handily ahead of Griffin Dollar and Hendricks. And then in the main event, under the lights, it was all Nash, the driver, his first ever Rotax race. Again, wow. raced okay over in Europe all last year with factory Tony Kart. So understands the slide carburetor, as you will, and the power band and how these similar type engines work together. But he was just on rails on Saturday, drove away to a 4-second advantage as they battled behind him for second. That was Oliver Merck taking the 3rd spot behind Griffin Dollar. Unfortunately for the Canadian who finished 3rd, he was penalized 10 spots for contact, so that took him off the podium, moving Antoine Lemieux into the 3rd spot, with fellow Canadian Timothy Pernard and the Burrell Art in 4th, and then Micah Hendricks dropping back to the 5th position.
Hendricks, as you said, we talked about him in the outlap, that I knew that he would be quick, having known that racetrack extremely well. He came back out, David, again, after you said P5 in the Croc promotion on Saturday, came back out on Sunday. Remember, folks, Saturday and Sunday, you as drivers trying to win a championship or a weekend and a ticket, it's the combined 2 days, right, David? So guys obviously came into Sunday with the thoughts of where they finished on Saturday, that in mind, trying to get a ticket. Hendricks out of the gate quickly again. Dave qualifies with a 45.778.
Yeah, again, Nash with the provisional pole position in Group B. Hendricks goes out in Group A and just nips him, and it's actually it was slower than what it was on Saturday.
Yeah, by a lot.
Ironically, the times were quicker in warm up, so it was just that transition from warm up to qualifying was a little bit off. So that was an interesting scenario with the qualifying session there. But Nash again losing out, but was in the top 5. However, the start of the pre-final got pushed off into the dirt and actually driven over by with contact with Dollar and Pernard getting together. Nash's engine was damaged severely. The water hose coming off, carburetor coming off. So that ended his pre-final and his shot at winning the Rotax Grand Finals ticket gone at that moment. Dollar and Pernard were able to continue on. They actually finished 22nd and 21st. This allowed Cooper Auclair, who actually finished 7th on Saturday, so wasn't really there, but had consistent points, was nearly into the top 5 on Saturday. This allowed Auclair, who qualified in the 6th position, to come through and take over the top spot in the pre-final. So he took the win ahead of Lemieux and Mark Newson in the 3rd position. And then we got into the main event. It was Lemieux who was able to get the jump on Auclair as the green flag waved, but Auclair quickly took back the position and maintained a pretty good advantage as they kind of battled behind him for the 2nd position. So Auclair kind of got the clear air in front of him and never really looked back and was able to drive away to a 1.2 second margin of victory. While the battling behind them for 2nd allowed Griffin Dollar and Timothy Pernard to move up towards that lead group that didn't include Auclair. So Dollar and Pernard had a great drive back up to the front, but it was Lemieux who took the 2nd spot at the line. However, a penalty for jump start took that 2nd spot away from Lemieux, dropping him back down. Where did he finish? I want to say it was 13th. I'm going to double check that. I forgot to put it in my notes. Dropped him all the way down to 14th. So a big hit for him. That moved Dollar up into the 2nd spot, Pernard into 3rd, Pernod, sorry. Yeah.
Yep, no worries.
Newson to the 4th spot, and then Hendricks once again in the 5th position. So a lot of things were happening. Nash could have had the opportunity to come up if he did the same like what Dollar and Pernod did. But he got pushed off at Daytona once again in the opening lap of the final. So that again ended his chances. So it was a wild scenarios. And actually Lemieux, had he finished in the 2nd spot, would have given him the ticket by 60 points. However, that penalty dropping him all the way back to the 14th spot, that dropped him down to 4th overall in the points, moving Auclair to the top spot in the championship and giving him the Rotax Grand Finals ticket.
So young racers, straight up here right now, you never know where you're going to finish, what happens on Saturday, but man, you can come back on Sunday. Like you said, Leclerc was not even in the top 5 on Saturday, but was able to get the win on Sunday. And with just some luck and what happened to everybody else, right? You never know. Got to keep digging.
Auclair. Yeah, he said it. He just, they didn't quite have the pace on Saturday. They did a lot of homework, and as he said in the interview, and they felt like they got a better baseline, a better setup for Sunday, and just things kind of fell their way.
Well done for Cooper Auclair. That's fantastic. Let's go to the junior max category. David, here's the headline. Drysdale grabs first RMC Grand Finals ticket.
Yeah, the junior max category first on track for every session. This was another one to watch. Even though he didn't quite have the 37 drivers, but the front group was battling all weekend long. That was led opening qualifying session by Xander Malatesta. Again, local knowledge certainly coming through all weekend long in a number of the different categories. He put down a 45.961 in qualifying. However, that would be the last we heard of him. He just got shuffled back in the pre-final, never was able to really put himself back up towards the front of the field the rest of the weekend. Drysdale did come up through and earn the pre-final win ahead of Gage Korn and Nathan Dupuis, with those being kind of the top contenders going into the main event. It was Korn that broke away from the two in the main event. However, Nathan Dupuis got himself into the second spot after putting Drysdale back to third, was able to run down Korn with a good final couple of laps. The two were nose to nose or nose to tail on the final lap. Dupuis actually made a great move on him in, I believe it was turn number 4, took the lead. Korn came back as they got through Daytona with Dupuis giving him just enough to make a move. But unfortunately for Korn, it was contact with a curb that put him in turn 12. It was contact with a curb that put him into Dupuis and up and over Dupuis' front end of the cart. So they were kind of bogged down. You weren't sure if they were going to keep going. They were able to keep going. Korn was able to get away, came across the line first, with Drysdale coming up through to cross the line in second. However, Korn was penalized for the contact, giving him a 3-second penalty. That moved Drysdale up to the top spot in the podium.
Wow. So Dupuis was, like you said, they were able to continue on. He ends up finishing second. Mason Kuhn up into the third spot. Cole Medeiros in fourth, and Colt Schlotthauer rounding out the top 5. That 3-second penalty for Korn dropping him down to 8th. So obviously pretty close up front over the course of the races. This, of course, with David would then kind of dial things up into Sunday's action, where Cole Medeiros, who finished 4th in Saturday, ends up qualifying on the pole with a 45.532, over 4/10 quicker than they qualified on Saturday.
Yeah, like we said, the senior session was a little bit weird because everybody got a little bit quicker, but except for the senior max division. But Medeiros was found the advantage, or found the change that he needed to make. Maybe it was just running in the daytime that sparked kind of his momentum, as he was able to sweep the day, as you said, set fast time in qualifying. Was able to beat out Dupuis for the pre-final win, and then in the main event, it was a wire-to-wire for him. Going from green flag to checkered flag with not really a challenge, as they kind of battled behind him for the second spot. Korn got into that position late. Dupuis tried to fight back, but Korn held him off pretty good. And then in the final lap, Drysdale was able to make a move for the third spot, getting by Dupuis in that same turn 12 section of the racetrack, coming to the checkered flag. So Dupuis went from second to fourth in the closing laps, taking him off the podium.
No way! Wow. And when it comes to the championship, David, give me the lineup on this. Based on your notes here, it sounds like that last lap kind of changed who was going to win the overall.
That's exactly it. Drysdale needed to finish third, with Medeiros taking the win. Needed a third place finish, and that pass in the final lap in the final couple of corners got him that spot. Just enough points, 15 extra points with the move to be able to beat Medeiros by 15 points in the championship.
Oh wow! So Drysdale,
because again, they would have been tied. So I think what I found, it was like the 4th different tiebreaker, because they would have had the same amount of wins, the same amount of seconds, same amount of thirds, and it would have went to whoever won the last matchup in the finals. So Sunday's final was like the 4th different tiebreaker, and with Medeiros winning that, he would have gotten the tiebreaker and would have won the ticket. So.
Wow. Right.
Every little bit certainly counted this weekend in all of these different categories.
So Drysdale coming away with that ticket. Well done. When we get back after this break, we'll have a look at DD2, Masters Max, and one more break before we drive into Mini and Micro. So up next, folks, after this quick break, we'll come back with the race report for DD2. What brand is known around the world for its innovation and success? It is SodiCart. The Sodi brand returned in full force during the 2023 season thanks to the new exclusive importer, the Karting Distribution, led by industry veteran Terry Germanovich. The French manufacturer Sodi Kart is a leader within the karting industry, offering a wide range of products and services. The Sodi Racing chassis line offers product in classes from mini karts to KZ, all based on years of development and championship seasons around the world. Sodi Racing USA has expanded its dealer network over the last year, bringing the Sodi brand to several local clubs and regional programs. The Sodi Racing USA by PK Sports is the official race team, producing many victories in different levels across the board. And the new Pro Race Academy is designed to cater to the next generation of motor racing, helping boys and girls aiming to make their mark. Visit Sodi-Racing-USA.com to learn more about Sodi Kart chassis or call 954-634-5111 to become part of the Sodi Racing USA network today. Sodi Kart, the world leader in the karting industry. Parolin is among the winningest brands in the USA and around the world. The Parolin Le Mans full-size chassis for junior and senior classes and the Parolin Opportunity model for cadet divisions have earned success weekend after weekend at all the major championships and events in both the USA and throughout Europe. The Parolin chassis lineup also includes the Invader shifter, along with the Daytona 4-cycle chassis and the Delfino Kid Kart. Karters can head to the ParolinUSA.com website where the entire chassis line and parts are available to you, with shipping available all across North America. Parolin USA partners with several companies and race teams across the country to provide a strong dealer network to represent the brand locally and at the national level to support drivers throughout North America. Get on the chassis that's winning. Drive a Parolin. Back at it here with the EKN Debrief for the RMC USA West event that was held out at the PKRA facility last weekend, mid-February. This race report brought to you by Odenthal Racing Products. Rob Howden alongside David Cole. Here is DD2. We'll give you the report on this one. The headline, Savaglio and Dowler split with former taking Rotax Grand Finals ticket.
Yeah, again, as we talked about, watching the DD2 category was certainly fun. And the action was tight. These guys were within tenths, hundred thousandths of each other in qualifying and fast time in all the races throughout the weekend. Starting off with Lucas Pernod. I can never say it right.
Pernod,
the brother of Timothy, putting down a 45.014, but that was the only time we saw him at the top of the order in DD2, as Savaglio was able to win the pre-final ahead of him and Dowler in third. And then again, in the main event, a good little battle, but Savaglio was able to hold the top spot through all 18 laps. It was a close battle early, but eventually Dowler kind of had to battle for the second spot, so that gave Savaglio the advantage he needed, going to the checker flag by just under 3 seconds ahead.
Yeah, Savaglio, 2.943 seconds, the victory over Dowler. Pernod ends up in the third spot. Matthew Taskinen and Macy Williams round out your top five. Savaglio kept it rolling, David, right into Sunday, taking that success in both the pre-final and the final from Saturday. Lays down a 45.174 in qualifying. It would then battle it out again, I assume, with Dowler again, right, on all day on Sunday.
Yeah, Dowler put the pressure on in the pre-final, but wasn't able to pick up that win, as Savaglio was able to secure that win. But Dowler picked up the pace in the main event, got by him. The two kind of exchanged the top spot in the middle part of the race, but Dowler just proved to be a little bit better. They were very evenly matched throughout the racetrack, so it was very difficult to pass and make a move. But Dowler coming away after two runner-up finishes on Saturday, able to pick up a victory on actually three runner-ups overall and a victory as he picked up the DD2 win on Sunday.
Yeah, and David, with Savaglio and Dowler kind of, like you said, going at it back and forth up top, it was going to come down to those two drivers in the bid for the Grand Finals ticket, and Savaglio coming away with it by 43 points over Dowler and 78 points over Pernod.
Yeah, I believe this will be his fourth trip to the Rotax Grand Finals for Team Canada.
Who was Savaglio running with anyways on the weekend?
Racing Edge Motorsports on the Cosmic Yeah.
Yeah, Medeiros was in that group as well, right? Yeah, so Racing Edge looking very good on the weekend. Savaglio heading over once again to the grand finals. Let's go to Masters, Max. Some names coming out of this one. Some big names in Masters racing. Some guys that we remember talking about back in the early days of Stars of Karting and the CKI program. Here's the headline for Masters, Max. DeLeo defends home turf for third trip to Rotax Grand Finals.
Yeah, on paper, it was a dominating performance by Phil DeLeo, but early on, especially Saturday in the pre-final and final, it looked like it was going to be a brawl all weekend long. Clayton Kessler, the U.S. Trophy West champion from last year, set fast time in qualifying on Saturday at 46.374 and was able to win out a wild battle in the pre-final to take the win and start from the pole position. However, essentially the top three drivers kind of got together as the green flag waved for the main event. This allowed Phil DeLeo, who started fourth, to kind of slide through and get a big lead as they made their way through Daytona and the next couple of corners. And that was a deciding factor as DeLeo escaped away, running consistent laps to pull away to a 4-second advantage by the checkered flag.
Yeah, Chris Mann ended up coming in second, Noel Dowler in third, and Kessler, as David had mentioned, your pole sitter, in the fourth spot. Josh Sarche and the Tony Kart coming home for P5. Feels like DeLeo, like you said, Dave, you thought it was going to be a battle, but it ended up being all DeLeo as well on Sunday. Based on the results, it looks like he dominated the entire day on Sunday. Was that indeed the case?
Well, it helps when everybody's fighting behind you. That's for sure. He did set fast time in qualifying at 46.311, so just a bit quicker than what was run on Saturday again. But he's good on cooled tires. That's one thing I did notice. The battling did help a little bit, but still, Phil DeLeo, very solid on cold tires, was able to get away in the pre-final. Which saw a lot of issues. You had a DQ for Kessler for a scale line unsportsmanlike conduct. You had Christopher Mann get penalized for contact. You had Noel Dowler get a pushback bumper penalty. So that kind of shuffled up the order in the pre-final, moving last year's Team USA driver Laurentiu Mardan up into the second spot, and then Josh Sarge into the third position. And that essentially gave DeLeo a clean run. Mardan just didn't quite have the pace all weekend long, and DeLeo, good on the cold tires, got away early as they kind of battled behind him for second. But DeLeo getting out to another 4-second advantage in the 18-lap race. And this time it was Billy Cleveland, the veteran, the 64-year-old, I believe. I think that's what we calculated. 64-year-old driver running second, holding off Mardan for the second spot on the podium.
Dowler ends up in fourth, Mann in fifth. DeLeo winning the overall by 90 points over Dowler, 121 points over Mann. So Phil DeLeo is, again, a driver we've watched race over the last 20 years. Now one of the guys to watch for, of course, in this Masters Max category. Off to another break, folks. When we get back, we'll go. David?
I was going to say it's going to be his third time going to the Rotax Grand Finals. First time in 2008 in the junior category, and then again in 2012 in the senior division. So it's been 13 years since he's been there.
Isn't that wild? Isn't that wild? couple years when you're a little bit younger, and then rolling back. Hey, listen, that's the beauty of the Masters Max or any of the Masters categories, Dave. We've talked about this a lot, right? There are times when drivers will come into the sport at an older age, at 30 plus, and find a place that they can just race and have a great time. But there are those that find their way back, right? That's a story we hear a lot. Drivers who were big time into karting when they were juniors, maybe they got into the late teens, maybe even early 20s, but then they're done for 10 years. But then they come back and get a chance to go racing in this Masters only category, and that's really cool to see a guy like Phil DeLeo coming back, having made this race before a couple times as a young kid, and then coming back now 30 plus. Very cool. Was he 32 now? I think I saw on social. That's really cool.
Yeah, 32.
Love it. With that said, we will now go into the break. When we get back, our Odenthal Racing Products Race Report will continue. We'll cap it all up with Minimax and Micromax. Ready to step up your game? Joining the Rollison Performance Group is the obvious choice to take your racing to the next level. Industry-leading driver development is provided by our staff of multi-time national champions, Super Nationals winners, and Team USA members. And at the same time, RPG continues to be a national level powerhouse race team. Our goal is to help you raise your game and win races. We work with all age groups and are focused on developing those cadet and junior drivers who are ready to take the next step in their racing program. Rawlson Performance Group has set a new standard with our in-house engine program, AVP Engines, headed by Alex Vincent. AVP has become the benchmark in IAME competition. We have the largest OTK inventory that follows our race team, providing trackside parts at all the major events in North America. RPG also offers multilingual support with French, Spanish, and Portuguese-speaking staff. If you want to fight for championships or want to improve your skills and your chances to win, the answer is to call RPG at 503-260-4514. The Rawlson Performance Group. We race to win. In racing, experience is priceless. Franklin Motorsports is a leader in the karting industry, and with over 30 years of combined karting experience, we can provide you with everything you need to go racing. With a large online product selection, select track support events, and a wide variety of shop services, Franklin Motorsports is your complete karting source. Check out our online store at franklinkart.com, where all of our products are just a mouse click away. We continue to add to our growing product selection on the online store, and we ship daily to ensure products get to you quickly. We specialize in IAME engines, tilt seats, the ceramic product line, Driveline branded products, Briggs & Stratton engines, Smoker performance sprockets, OTK products, AIM, MG tires, and of course, the championship-winning Merlin chassis. In our online store, you'll find a variety of items to fill your karting needs. Franklin Motorsports is also known for our wide variety of services and is home to Innovative Engine Works by FMS, our in-house engine service department. Frame straightening, kart prep, and dyno testing are all services offered regularly at Franklin Motorsports. Be sure to stop by the Franklin trailer during the United States Pro Kart Series events as the official trackside vendor. For all things karting, visit franklinkart.com. All right, back in it. We'll cap off this edition of the Race Report brought to you by Odenthal Racing Products as we're talking all about the event, the RMC USA West race out at PKRA, a one-off event. The Trophy Series West was multi-events in the past. This was a one-off to pass out a bunch of tickets to the Rotax Grand Finals. Let's cap off the Race Report with Minimax and Micromax. We'll start with Mini, and here's the headline. Sanguinetti and Fee split the ticket going to Canada. I don't know who's Fee. That's a name I don't know. Is it
they actually call it Pi? Yes.
Well, you have
at least that's what Henry. That's how Henry pronounced it was Pi.
All right. Well, it was PHI in the title, so that's why
I know that's how it's spelled.
So it's I see. All right. We'll pronounce it phonetically to help me out. But yeah, there you go. Sanguinetti.
Now you know how I feel.
I can't wait to see you paying Sanguinetti and Pi split the ticket going.
I heard it all. I heard it all weekend long. Sanguinetti. I can say it.
There you go. Sanguinetti. Good for you. You sat beside Henry all day long. It got drilled into your head. You're going to be saying a lot here. So get into it.
I'm telling you what, Rob. That's how I understand how some of these names are said because I spell it say it how it's spelled. But I did hear him. Yes. So that's how it was. It was Sanguinetti taking the sweep on Saturday, fast time of 48.616 in qualifying, became the winner in the pre-final after Pi was penalized for a jump start. That dropped him from first to eighth in the pre-final order, giving Sanguinetti the pre-final win and the pole position where he was able to take advantage of that, running away after an early battle and driving to the victory on Saturday by just over 0.7 of a second on his TB kart.
Yeah, Joshua Wheeler on the Nitro was second in both the pre-final and the final. Harrison Jeffrey finishing in third. Tyson Underwood on the comp kart third in the pre-final, fourth in the final. Sebastian Johnson rounding out on the Pantano, rounding out the top five on Saturday. David, let's talk as well about going into Sunday. Mateo Pai, we've got that nailed down now. Had a bit of an issue, as you said, in the pre-final, but came out of the gate pretty strongly in qualifying, going P1 with a 48.713.
Yeah, I do have it spelled wrong. I just noticed
right.
that. Oh,
Thanks.
man. I apologize about that. Yeah. It's been a long couple of days. But anyway, yeah,
you need a day off.
It was all Pi. It was 3.14, blah, 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 blah. It was all him. The Canadian was able to sweep the action on Sunday, as you said, qualifying first with a 48.713, taking the win in the pre-final ahead of Wheeler and Sanguinetti. And then in the main event, it was him wire to wire for another victory to secure his victory on Sunday, with Wheeler in the second spot, Lipka up to third on the comp cart. So he was able to enjoy a podium finish at his home track. But the focus was on Sanguinetti. He came in with the points, but with Pai taking a lot of the points away with the pre-final and final wins, he still needed to get some points, with Wheeler finishing there in second. So that was kind of the focus of Henry's commentary, because he needed to finish fourth in order to secure the overall points total win and the champion and the ticket to the grand finals. Underwood actually had the fourth spot, took it away from Sanguinetti, but late in the race, Christian was able to take over that spot, hold off Underwood to the checkered flag, so came across the line in the fourth spot ahead of Underwood, and that would be the difference in the championship. Just 7 points separating Sanguinetti and Wheeler. So again, had he finished fifth, it would have gave the ticket to Wheeler by only 3 points. So again, another one position or a couple positions difference, certainly deciding the ticket and where it went.
Wow, that is close. 10-point swing going the other way. Sanguinetti ends up getting the ticket by, again, just 7 points over Wheeler and 82 points over Pai, who was the dominant factor on Sunday. Let's move to the Micromax category. David, here's the headline. Francisco and Tarango help Nitro Kart dominate.
Yeah, they were the top two drivers all weekend long in this category. On Saturday, it was all Francisco, a 49.694 to set fast time in qualifying. He went on to win the pre-final ahead of Tarango, as they were set to line up all Nitro Kart front row until Tarango's kart, as they left the grid, just the engine wouldn't run. Something mechanically was wrong with the engine, and unfortunately, he wasn't able to take the green flag. So that essentially cost Tarango the chance at trying to get the Rotax Grand Finals ticket. That allowed Francisco to drive away to a 10-second advantage in the main event to score the victory on Saturday.
Yeah, Lincoln Lima in the Burrell Art finishing second, Youssef Adi in third, Jack Klein in fourth, and Parker Hennessy rounding out the top five. Coming back on Sunday, Francisco continued with the pace up front, 49.470, over 0.2 faster in qualifying than he did on Saturday. But Tarango back at it again, David. He was able to get out front in the pre-final and score the win to get the pole for the main.
Yeah, and went wire to wire in the main event as well. Francisco never left his wingman, kept Tarango up front. They had a little bit of a challenge early, but eventually they broke away for a 1-2 finish in the main event for Nitro Kart and Ruthless Karting, with Tarango picking up the victory and Francisco taking the Rotax Grand Finals ticket.
Yeah, Lima, Addy, and Klim. We'll have to get a confirmation
Klim,
on that when we can.
Klim?
I believe. Klim or Klein?
Yeah. That name Klim? I didn't hear. Yeah, I didn't get the full name on that one. Sorry about that.
Copy that. Well, listen, obviously wins by Francisco and Tarango, but that DNS, David, you mentioned an issue coming off the grid on Saturday's main event was the difference, as Francisco coming away with a first and a second. In fact, 2 poles, first and second in the pre-finals, first and second in the mains, gave Francisco a 96-point win over Addy, and then Tarango coming home in the 4th spot. Final break, folks. When we get back, David will wrap things up. We'll look at the Constructors' Championship. And last but not least, as we always do, we'll cap it off with the EKN Trackside Live Race Calendar. A new era is here for TB Kart USA. The face of TB Kart USA has changed heading into 2025, with the ownership group behind the Amarillo Kart Circuit becoming the new U.S. importer and distributor of the TB Kart brand. Located at the Amarillo Kart Complex in Panhandle, Texas, owner Kyle Yachinsky is motivated to expand the TB Kart brand from coast to coast. As the brand's dealer network extends, TB Kart USA formed a partnership with Norway Motorsports Park to become the exclusive distribution partner for the North Central United States. TB Kart USA is working with current dealers around the U.S., striving to add more dealers and partners to help support TB Kart drivers at the local and regional programs. TB Kart is among the more innovative chassis manufacturers, growing into one of the leading brands in the world over the last decade. The history of the parent company for TB Kart dates back over a century in Erba, Italy, with the Brenna family. Their passion for manufacturing and racing led to the development of their first karts in the mid-1980s. TB Kart USA will continue to work directly with the TB Kart factory on development of each chassis model, ranging from kid kart to shifter kart. This strong relationship has led to new and improved front-end geometry, along with brake system changes to bring the TB Kart brand to the front for this season. The globally recognized TB Kart rental kart product line, featuring 5 different models, is also available through TB Kart USA for tracks to utilize here in the US. To learn more about joining the TB Kart USA distribution network or to find a dealer near you, contact them via email at amarillokartcomplex@gmail.com or call 210-787-0589. Wins at the sport's biggest races, as well as championships across all levels of karting, pack the resume for Nitro Kart. The Nitro Kart brand has made its statement as the best, fastest, and most reliable cadet chassis on the North American karting market. If you want to win in cadet, both in 2-cycle and 4-cycle competition, get a Nitro Kart and join the team. Team Nitro Kart will be at all major events, trackside with Ryan Perry Motorsport, the official race team. Owner Ryan Perry and his RPM operation carries the full selection of Nitro Kart chassis and parts, while also providing the same driver development focus as Nitro Kart owner Nick Tucker. You can also join the Team Nitro Kart race team at all major 4-cycle races this season. Led by longtime Nitro Kart tuner Cody Johnson, Team Nitro Kart will be at all the major Cup Karts North America events, with arrive and drive opportunities available for all ages. Nitro Motorsports is a true karts-to-karts driver development program that is already gaining success after launching in 2022. Victories and championships in the Trans Am Series has highlighted the team's start, along with the success in the new GR Cup by Toyota. Current and former karters can take advantage of this unique ladder system with Nitro Kart and Nitro Motorsports. Visit Nitro Kart online and find them on social media. Nitro Kart, race one or chase one. Welcome back to the final segment of this edition of the EKN Debrief, episode number 144. Myself, Rob Howden, and Dave Cole, who was trackside, of course, all weekend long, going back-to-back events, and has another one coming up in just over a week's time. Busy time here in Q1 for the entire staff here at HMG. We're dialing things in and wrapping it up with the RMC USA West event, that Rotax Grand Finals ticket race out at the PKRA facility. David, wrap things up. You got a couple of points down here just to kind of put a cap on the event.
Yeah, Apollo Motorsports was able to award the fast time drivers in the Sunday main events with $200. So they dished out over $1,200 there on Sunday. Real cash, American cash. Some of the kids had dollars. Yes, the dollars are great people. Always great to see them. But yeah, some of the kids didn't even know what $100 bill looked like. Everything's all, credit cards and this and that. They have no idea what that cash was. So quite fun to watch them kind of
kids
stare
want
at
Bitcoin.
It.
Give me some Bitcoin.
They were staring at it like, what is this? What is this? I don't know. Racing under the lights. It certainly brings a unique aspect to this event. Aside from the grand finals, I don't know too many Rotax events that are under the lights. So, kudos to Race Rotax for doing something different. Again, with the format of the event, both having 2 rounds of racing and racing under the lights on Friday and Saturday.
Dave, let's talk about the safety on the event. I like this note, and I'll let you kind of dive into it. But you type here, no red flags. That's always big.
Yeah, it was, otherwise a safe event. We did have one flip. Of course, it was right in front of me, and I had to attend to the driver before anybody else could get to him. But the kid was he was more upset about getting wrecked and flipping than being injured. So yeah, he was able to walk away. But yeah, no major incidents. So again, a pretty safe weekend all around. And again, 6 tickets handed out. So we saw Rotax Grand Finals tickets handed out, the Rotax Winter Trophy in Orlando. We got 6 more that were handed out here in Phoenix, and there'll be more coming later in 2025 when Race Rotax confirms their future events for the season.
That's it. All right, let's have a look at the Constructors Championship, David, as well.
Yeah, 9 brands winning the 12 races. So a pretty diverse lineup of chassis brands winning. Cosmic, Tony Kart, and Nitro Kart were the 3 that won twice on the weekend, with Comp Kart, EOS, Gallard, Esprit, Burrell Art, and TB Kart all picking up a victory of their own. Overall, you look at the OTK family, it was 7 wins for them overall in the 12 out of the 12 races. So over 50% haul for OTK.
Speaking of OTK, they are presenting our final segment here, the EKN Trackside Live race calendar, and we thank OTK for all their support. All over the karting world, everyone knows OTK is the gold standard for quality and performance. In the U.S., OTK USA is the source for all things OTK. From the legendary Tony Kart brand to the race-winning Cosmic, Esprit, Red Speed, and EOS chassis, and now the new Gallard, Lando Norris, and Carlos Sainz brands, OTK quality is second to none. To learn more about a specific product line or to find the OTK USA dealer near you, visit www.otkusa.com. And David, speaking of OTK USA, we got a chance to actually stop by their shop and warehouse in Orlando when we were down there for the race. That was a cool trip before we head into the track that day.
Yeah, it's very cool to see how the sausage is made, as they say. We'll be kind of putting an overview of our visit there up on the website here in the coming weeks for sure.
Love it. So we talked about David being rocking and rolling over the last couple of weekends. Dave, you're at least going to get a weekend off. Put the feet up. Take a little bit of a break this weekend. Tell your wife you can't be doing any plowing of the snow. You got to relax a bit because you've been going at it because you got more coming up. And in fact, a lot through March. Our next event, folks, for EKN Trackside will be a Trackside Live program. David and I will be there at the K1 Kart Circuit in Winchester, California. Our first trip to K1 for the Challenge of the Americas, rounds 3 and 4. Looking forward to getting back with the Challenge family, expecting big numbers on the weekend as well. Expecting a lot of shifter carts out there to have some fun. But that is March 7th, 8th, and 9th. David, you ready to go to K1? Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I was busy talking with Andy. He was just there this past weekend as they had the Tri-C event there. So he was learning more about the logistics, because anytime you go to a racetrack for the first time, you got to understand what you can and cannot do, where you're going to put things, where everything's going to flow for logistics in terms of on and off the racetrack, tech, scales, et cetera, et cetera. So they're working on a tower. So hopefully they'll have that complete with hopefully air conditioning. As I heard, they didn't have that going this weekend. So
good times.
Yeah, we're still trying to put together the pieces and make sure that we're ready to go and be able to stream all the live audio all weekend long from Challenge of the Americas.
So David will fly home on the Monday, as will I. He'll be right back at it, though, the following weekend, March 14th, 15th, and 16th, the United States Pro Kart Series, kicking off their 2025 season at Daytona International Speedway. The USPKS Daytona Super Grand Prix down in Daytona Beach, Florida. David, it's wild to me. It's exciting, I think, for karting. Daytona was always kind of that one-off thing, right? You went down there, you got a chance to run between Christmas and New Year's every year. And now we've got a chance for some of these, bigger series, these programs, whether it's 4-cycle, 2-cycle, now the USPKS, get a chance to go to Daytona. We've run in Indianapolis before. Daytona is one of those special places. It's very cool to see the USPKS being there.
Yeah, the goosebumps will be popping up as we roll under the tunnel to get into the infield, as we do every year. I think it's been probably 6 or 7 years since I've been there. So it's been an itch that I've been dying to go back to. It'll be fun to see a massive event like this held inside Daytona International Speedway. Talking with Mark Coates, we got some special things that'll be happening. I hope one of them comes to fruition. Hopefully that'll be really cool, very memorable for those who do end up on the podium. And some other things that they're going to be doing. They're going to be handing out some Skip Barber awards to junior drivers. They got new Micron 6s to hand out to podium finishers and a lot more. So it should be a great way, almost the Super Bowl of the USPKS as they kick off the 2025 season.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And then again, at the end of the month, we're back at it once again. Another day we'll get a weekend off in there, but we're back at March 28th to 30th. We'll cap off essentially Q1 of the 2025 season with the opening rounds of the SuperKarts USA Pro Tour, the Winter Nationals at Speed Sports Racing Park in New Caney, Texas. Exciting to get out to Alan Rudolph's track there and get back to the facility. I love that track. Got a chance to do some seat time there before I ran the Super Nats back in 2023. David, looking forward to getting there for sure. Start off the Pro Tour. Sadly for me, it will be the only Pro Tour race I'm able to make this year because in moving the Spring Nationals to Memorial Day weekend, I can't go to that one. I got another conflict for the Summer Nats. So this will be my only Pro Tour race of the year, but always loving getting down to that Speed Sports Racing Park. What a great racetrack.
This will be the first time the Pro Tour has been in the Lone Star State since 2014. So it's been 11 years since since the SuperKarts USA Pro Tour has been down there. First time, obviously, for the Speed Sports Racing Park. But you probably won't be in the Howden Tower either because they'll probably be set up in the Rock Island room in the the rental cart place. But still, it's for the Spring Nats, you could probably come to Ohio. Just saying, you don't have to be there on Friday.
That's true. That's a possibility. It's not the plan, but it's a possibility.
I know. I'm just.
Well, we've had rain there. We've had rain on the Friday. Like the last 2 years,
you're
on
probably going to get rained on. Yeah, you're probably going to get rained on. So
Don't say that. Anyways,
yeah, you got rained on this weekend, right?
We did. Yeah, we
better you than me.
It was bad. We weren't able to get on track at all on Sunday. There was so much standing water. It didn't rain that hard. There was just lots of standing water. It was very surprising. So
yeah,
tough one here at the USF. Yeah, spring training.
I would say we saw that at Speed Sports because everything they got, you guys got, and they were drenched in rain there for the Texas Sprint Racing Series event. So kudos to Ken Johnson and his wife for sticking it out in the rain all weekend long, taking the amazing photography that they do. You know, drivers are one thing. They do a session and go find dry clothes where Ken Johnson's in the wet all day long. So major props to him. Sure.
So there you go, folks. That is where we'll be over the next month, essentially, right? A little over maybe 5 weeks through the end of February and then all through March. 3 events for David and I. Actually, 2 events. He'll be at all 3 of them. So a busy March for David. Don't worry, folks. He's got lots of breaks in the middle of the year. It's just crazy right now to start off Q1. So that does wrap things up for our EKN debrief for episode number 144. David giving us a full, in-depth look at the results from the Race Rotax RMC USA West event out in Phoenix, Arizona. It was a good one for sure. A number of drivers added to their national programs heading to the Rotax Grand Finals this fall. That'll be, of course, a great event to watch. Always full coverage with Henry Beaudet on YouTube. Get a chance to watch all of that. But we do thank you for tuning into this edition of the Debrief. As you know, more to come. The fact that we've got 3 races coming in March, that means 3 outlaps, 3 debriefs, lots of podcasts still to come and more as well on the EKN YouTube channel coming down the pipe. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We do appreciate it. On behalf of David Cole, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.